Oh yeah, the Emmy Award-winning Twig Talk continues with Brody and Brownie, of course, in that order. Brody first. I believe this is episode 4, right? We've already talked about how to pick a stick, how to cut it to the right length. Here I am, right at my nose. You tape my stick so beautifully last time around, so we're looking sharp. We're ready to actually use this hockey stick, but there's two very important parts to it, Brownie, a forehand and a backhand. So today is all about the art of the backhand.
Okay, well, great point by you. There's two sides of the stick. You've come a long way. You often asked, what happens, when they, anyways, forehand and backhand, you can pass or shoot with either. Now, if you notice on these curves.
Yep.
So obviously, when it goes from my left to right,
yep,
I'm a left-handed shot.
Right.
You're the opposite. Also notice, we talked about this a little bit, I think, when we were picking out sticks, is some are straighter, some have more of a bend, but there's always an area that's flatter or straighter, okay?
Kind of the sweet spot.
That's a sweet spot for the backhand.
Okay.
If you're gonna shoot on the forehand, different shots come from the toe. You want to talk more about the backhand.
Okay.
Okay, what is the difference? Well, when you're coming in to shoot on a goalie, they try to read, actually, how your blade is turned, where your release is, and they have a little bit of a guesstimate, maybe where you're shooting high or low. They try to read shooters, etc. With the backhand, it's very difficult. Why? Because it's an unorthodox delivery. It may be lower, higher, but there's just a little bit of a strange angle that you always have on the puck that they have a tough time reading.
Can I just state the obvious?
Yeah.
Like, this stick is not necessarily made for the backhand. Good hockey players know how to use it exceptionally, but clearly, somebody could never have watched hockey before and say, well, I'm going to strike the puck with the forehand side of it. I would never use the backhand
Exactly.
side.
Also for protecting pucks.
Yeah.
Because the way the anatomy is,
you can cradle it.
You can cradle it, and it's easier to go in circles and keep it.
Right.
Whereas if you're going to go backhand,
easier
you have to turn your hands over, and then there is the curved portion that actually exposes where it might fall off.
All right. We've talked long enough. Let's demonstrate. What are the big techniques to using the backhand? And actually, I'm just realizing something. I'm forehand, you're forehand.
Yep, let's switch sides.
We got to switch.
Okay, so with the backhand, a couple of the different things is, in a panic situation, you can backhand it from distance, out in front of you, but this is not how you're going to get most leverage. What you have to do is you actually have to bring this puck further back, just like you would when you're shooting. You want to drag it
on the heel, you're saying?
Now you're going to have to start on the heel, and you don't roll it the way that you might. We were talking about passing and starting on the heel, let it go down the blade. Most of this is going to be from that short distance. I'll call it on my stick 4 to 6 inches.
So this is still the sweet spot.
That's the sweet
this part
spot
right here.
And you're not going to do as much rolling the wrist. It's going to be more of a straight action towards the net.
Shovel?
More of a shovel.
Okay.
You still use your wrist to guide it. Okay. So it would look sort of like this. If I'm going towards the little net, try to guide it, and you actually stop on the way through, because you can't follow through way up here. Some kids, some adults, they'll get flailing away with their stick. You don't see people good shooters with their stick way up here. Same thing with the backhand. Is it's got to be guided lower. So right away, I noticed way too far off your toe.
Okay,
So try to start that more off your heel, more. There you go, right back there. And now you're going to have more control. That's also true with passing. So we don't pass often on the show on our backhands, but this is how we would do it. Same thing. On my backhand, I'm using that flat portion versus the other.
So here's my next question. How do I get a puck when I've got no leverage? I'm just looking at physics here. How do I go top cheese on the backhand? That seems incredibly tough.
Okay, it's more difficult. Why? Because as soon as I open this stick up on the forehand, like yours or any others, there's some upward tilt to that blade, right? It's not just a perfect circle where everything's flat. There's a element of elevation already. So in order to get it elevated, what do I have to do? You're talking about physics.
Angle?
I got to lower my hands.
Okay.
So now to lower my hands, I can go up over the net or higher. Why? Because it's more of that shovel, and I have to create this upward angle on the blade versus the natural, I don't know, how many degrees is that? 5 degrees,
couple,
10
yeah,
degrees?
Couple.
Whereas on the back, it actually starts working downward on the toe. That's why you got to use the flat portion.
I want to show one example here. Sidney Crosby, the best in the world at many things, but especially on the backhand. I mean, here's a player, like we said, who does what he does on the forehand, but on the backhand, this just goes to show you the level he's capable at.
Absolutely, and we're going to watch some of these elements that he has here. Watch him drag it over, goes top cheese, out as quick as it goes in. He uses a very straight blade. Look at that blade. You can't see from this angle, but if you got your eyes on it, there's not much up tilt on that blade. That's great for passing. It's great for using your backhand, as he does here. And watch the element of surprise. Like, the netminder's not ready for that.
Yeah.
My grandpa told me. I was down in the basement, shooting. Always reminded me, practice your backhands. Why? Because he knew that that is going to be one of the ways that you can beat the netminders. You're coming across, you're dragging it, the goalie's not ready.
Right.
Now you have a good backhand,
Got
it's
him.
in,
Yeah.
and he can't react.
It's amazing good shooters can get so much on pucks from their backhand. This is not an easy thing to do, but NHLers and, yeah, even Brownie, they make it look easy.